the American people by the millions are saying no to oligarchy, no to Trump's authoritarianism, no to Trump's kleptocracy, and no to tax breaks for billionaires.
That was Bernie Sanders at the May Day protests and May Day event in Philadelphia, co-sponsored by the AFL-CIO. Shout out to the AFL-CIO. I've got some great friends there. Let's take a look at this crowd. You see how massive it is. And Senator Bernie Sanders came with a powerful May Day speech. I want to give you the highlights of it. And let's be very clear. Donald Trump and MAGA, they are terrified at the crowd sizes that Senator Bernie Sanders is drawing in speeches like this, and the crowd sizes that he and AOC are drawing as they travel across the country as well. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of Senator Bernie Sanders' May Day event speech in Philadelphia. Let's play this clip.
Brothers and sisters, what we are celebrating today in May Day is, in a sense, a sacred holiday. And all over our country, workers are coming out demanding justice, and all over the world, in dozens of countries, workers are standing up to oligarchy and demanding a world in which all people have a decent standard of living. Today, we remember the struggles and the sacrifices of workers for hundreds of years who have stood up to powerful special interests to create a better world. And today we thank our brothers and sisters in the trade union movement for continuing that struggle.
Here is another incredible moment from the speech. Let's play it.
Oligarchy is a president who, when he gets inaugurated, he doesn't hide it. Right behind him are the three wealthiest people in America: Musk, Bezos, and Zuckerberg. And right behind them are 13 other billionaires who he has appointed to head major government agencies. I think all of us remember that when Abraham Lincoln was in Gettysburg, right here in Pennsylvania, and he looked out at a battlefield where a few days before 20,000 Union soldiers had died or been wounded. And he looked out and he said, our vision for the future of America is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Well, what everyone knows is that today we have a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, and for the billionaire class, and we will not allow that to continue. And let me be very clear. These oligarchs, these billionaires are not nice people. They are incredibly greedy people. You might think that somebody who has 10 or 20 billion dollars might be content, might think that's enough. Not these guys. They want it all. And they are prepared to destroy Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, nutrition programs in order to get more tax breaks for themselves. So today, brothers and sisters, we tell these greedy oligarchs, this country belongs to all of us, not the billionaire class.
Another very powerful moment right here.
And let me tell you what else that is going on in our country today. Today, in the richest country in the history of the world, 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. I grew up in a family that lived paycheck to paycheck. Many of you are living paycheck to paycheck. Millions of people should not and will not live paycheck to paycheck in the richest country in the history of the world. Today in America, one man, Elon Musk, owns more wealth than the bottom 52% of American households. Today in America, working class people live 7 years shorter lives than the rich. Today in America, the top 1% now owns more wealth than the bottom 93%. And CEOs make 350 times more than the average worker. And here is something that we don't talk about enough, and it tells us why the American people are furious. Today, the average worker in America, despite a huge explosion in technology and worker productivity, that average worker is earning less money per week in inflation accounted for dollars than he or she did 52 years ago. So it's not hard to understand what's happened. Over the last 50 years, the very richest people in this country have become much richer, while 800,000 people today sleep out on the street and the average worker struggles. So let me tell you something. I have gone all over this country, as some of you may know. And what I am proud to tell you is the American people by the millions are saying no to oligarchy, no to Trump's authoritarianism, no to Trump's kleptocracy, and no to tax breaks for billionaires. And I'm here in Pennsylvania to tell any member of the Pennsylvania delegation that if they vote for tax breaks for billionaires and cut Medicaid, nutrition, and education, we are going to throw them out of their jobs.
And finally, Senator Bernie Sanders also talks about the stakes, what we need to do, and who we are fighting for. Play this clip.
We need to have a vision as to where our country goes in the future. And here is the bottom line, and I say that to my Democratic colleagues in the Congress. Stop defending the status quo economically. An economy in which the rich get richer and working people struggle should not be defended. So there are a number of things that we have got to keep our eyes on and understand. Please, you are living in the richest country in the history of the world. It is not a radical idea. It is not utopian to say that every man, woman, and child can and should have a decent standard of living. And at the top of the list of what we have got to do is to end a corrupt campaign finance system, a system that allows billionaires in both political parties to control the political process and our economy. Brothers and sisters, democracy is about one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections. And if we're going to deal with the massive income and wealth inequality that currently exists, we're going to not give the rich tax breaks. We're going to demand that the billionaires and their corporations start paying their fair share of taxes. And if we're going to build the movement that we need to take power in this country, we need to grow the trade union movement in this country. Right now, there are millions of workers who want to join unions. They're unable to do so because of the illegal behavior of corporations. And that's why we're going to pass the PRO Act. And if workers, a majority of workers sign a union card, they're going to belong to a union. Brothers and sisters, we need to raise the minimum wage in this country to a living wage. No worker working 40 hours a week should live in poverty. And brothers and sisters, if we're going to compete in the global economy, we need the best educated workforce in the world. And that is making not only our public colleges and universities tuition free. It means paying our teachers a wage that they deserve. There is no reason why we should not be having the best public education in the world and the best child care system in the world.
You know, when I had the opportunity to interview Senator Bernie Sanders, he said something very powerful to me that has always stuck with me to this day. Rather than me paraphrase it, let me just share with you the clip of what Senator Bernie Sanders shared with me. It's a piece of advice and a statement that has been instilled in me and has been very important in how I present facts, how I think about things, and how I've been building the MeidasTouch network. A very important moment in my life. So let me share that clip with you. Let's play it.
And here is the reality, which is not talked about very much. The reality is that in America today, our life expectancy is about 4 years less than other wealthy countries. But even worse is the fact that if you're working class in America, on average, you live 7 to 8 years shorter life than people who are wealthy. Now, why is that? And the answer is not just healthcare, which is important. Working class people, low income people do not have access to the kind of healthcare that the rich do, but it is the stress, the day-to-day stress that working class people live under. And I grew up in a working class home. I know a little bit about what it's like to have a family living paycheck to paycheck. And what I did, that was in Altoona, Wisconsin. I said, okay, all right, tell me what it's like to live under economic stress. And people just stood up. And one woman says, it's a question of whether I buy shoes for myself or my kids, whether I can afford eyeglasses, whether I can afford to go to the doctor, whether, I'm going to have the money to prepare a decent meal for my kids. That I live every day not knowing, what to expect. How do I survive? And what that is about, that is the reality that tens of millions of our people are living under. We don't talk about it. And what I have learned over the years, that some of the most important issues are the issues that get least discussion. And one of those issues is not just the working class people live 6 years shorter lives, 7 years shorter lives than the rich. That's important. Why is that? But what's equally important is 60% of the American people in the richest country on earth live paycheck to paycheck. That means they go to work, and if their landlord raises the rent, they don't know how they're going to be able to pay for it. Kid gets sick, don't know how to can afford to send the kid to the doctor. Car breaks down, don't know how to get it fixed, etc., etc. That is the reality facing tens of millions of Americans in the wealthiest country on earth. And that is the issue that we got to focus on. And that is why we got to transform our economy so that it works for everybody, not just billionaires.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think now. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.MeidasTouch.com. All 100% USA union made.